All right, we have Coach Schmetzer here. We'll get any opening statements or
no,
right into questions.
We'll right into questions as usual.
All righty, Masvita, why don't you go ahead and lead us off?
Yeah, hey Brian. Looked like you had the lion's share and also in the first half. My question is this: in the second half, you started on the front foot, it looked like, and then from the 63rd minute, it looked like something changed, and they had a couple shots. You come back and put in Georgie, Pedro and Danny. What changed in that first from the 55th minute to like the 69th minute? Did anything change or?
No, it's just momentum swings. I mean, look, the subs I made with Pedro coming on and Masaski, I thought the game was there for us to win. So, Reed was fine, totally fine. D-Row, totally fine. But I wanted to put fresh legs and our top players on the field to go for the win because I thought the game was there for us. So, obviously they score a goal kind of in that period where, we just couldn't look. It wasn't just the corner kick. And I'm sure we'll talk about that, but it was two throw-ins over here. It was just, that's how they play. And so, it's an unfortunate loss, but we got to push past it because Puebla is going to be the next biggest game for us, and we got to forget about this.
You frustrated at the slow down tactics?
Yeah, I'll actually address that, Moss, because in the first half there was zero extra time. And so every time Michael Boxall goes from his center back position up to the top of the field on the left-hand side or to the top of the field on the right-hand side, how long do you think that takes? You can rewatch the film and you tell me. And then it allows them time. They walk up the field. And if a team is ahead 1-0 and they walk up the field and they delay that much, yellow cards are coming out. So why is it not the same? Or, because that's kind of punitive, I don't really care about that. But what I wanted him to do, what the referee should have done, was add the extra time. If that's how they play, then just add the extra time and make it fair for us. That's all I was asking for.
Thanks.
Jeremiah O'Shan.
Brian, you guys have been flying pretty high here and rotating the lineup all along the way. Do you still feel pretty good about the lineup you used in this one? And then I guess how do you keep yourself from losing momentum from this run you guys were on?
Jeremiah, we weren't going to win all the rest of our games the rest of the season. I mean, that's that was never going to happen. It just happens that this is the one that we lost. I was happy with the starting group. I was happy with the tactics in the first half. The first half, we were just this close. We needed that one more little bit of extra, little something to get us a goal to play from the front. Even in the start of the second half, I thought we started on the front foot, pinned them back. So, yeah, I was happy with the lineup. We've got 3 days of rest till Wednesday, and we're going to start another good team. Because this was a good team, we're going to start another good team on Wednesday. And then we're going to start another good team the following game because we have a deep roster.
Jada Evans.
Thanks. Brian, kind of going with the game plan, like you said, I mean, it did almost work. With what Osorio had, is it a matter of a little bit of technique or veteran, experience to get some of those headers? Because he seemed like he was right there with a couple of them, and those could have gone in. But yeah, I mean, when you kind of look at those or think about that.
Well, look, he's got a bright future. He's got a lot of good starting points, Jada, and it just takes a little bit of seasoning. How many MLS minutes does that kid actually have? How many professional minutes with us at the first team level does that kid have? So you have to always take that into consideration. I think, number one, the kid puts the work in. I was pleased with the defending effort. He chased guys down. He pressed in the right moments. The front three, Jesus, Osaze, and Paul did a good job pinning Minnesota back at times. So I can't complain about those things, which are non-negotiables. And, the goals are going to come for them, the headers, the timing, all that sort of stuff. That's going to come.
And then my second thing was with Minnesota, like sports are cyclical. So this is the first time that they've swept you. Do you feel things? Yeah. Do you feel a shift though? I mean, you've been in this position with other clubs and gotten your final win or whatever. So do you feel that there's a shift with Minnesota?
Jada, I chuckled because, what I brought up in my pregame speech was the last time we were here, we won 3-2. And it was a good game. Jackson had a really good header. Jordan scored on a transition moment when we were defending high up the field. And then Albert on a second action of a set piece. And I told the team, I said, look, you guys should have confidence coming in here because we can play against this team. And again, I think they did a great job. I mean, they did in a lot of moments, except for that one critical moment where it's life or death inside the penalty box. And, we take a goal on a set piece, which, that's their strength. And, in that moment, we, needed to do a little better.
Felipe Makeda.
Coach Brian, it's always hard to lose with a team when you had this many winning games, but at the same time, the team didn't have the urgency to score until the team was under in the scoreboard. What can you tell me about that?
I disagree with that 100%. I think that they play a different style. So you're used to us attacking, but against opponents like this, you can't rush things. You can't force things. That's what they want you to do. They want you to rush. They want you to force passes so that they can go in transition. So I thought our game plan in the first half was excellent. We had the majority of the possession. Our expected goals totals were there. The only thing was missing was that little bit of quality in the first half. Even up until their goal, I felt very comfortable in the game. That's, again, why I made the subs to put Pedro on and bring Danny Masoski on, because I think we had control of the game. So I would disagree with you.
Nico Moreno.
Thank you. Brian, I just wanted to know, it seems like you were pretty happy with Reed's performance today, but what was it about what Reed provided for you today that seemed like the right option to go there at the starting spot at the left wing? And was holding Pedro back, did it have anything to do with the tendinitis you kind of mentioned earlier this week, or was it just the Puebla game midweek?
Look, Nico, it's rotation. I mean, I can't play Pedro every game. Other guys have to step up. Reed was good. He did his job. I have to rotate the team in some way, shape, or form. Look, it got a little trickier because, we lost Kent, we lost Albert. We're down a couple guys. I mean, if you talk about, two DPs, João Paulo, Paul Areola, I mean, we're missing some critical guys, and we're playing head-to-head, toe-to-toe against, a team that's had a great season. So, that was just a rotation thing. And, Pedro's going to come back in the next game and be the Pedro we love to see.
Thank you, Brandon. Just real quick, and Kim was also not in the bench. Is he okay? Is everything all right with Kim?
He's fine. He had a little calf tightness, and that was my decision. It was my decision not to risk him, again, because we've got a lot of fixture congestion. So he had a tight calf, and I said, okay, Kim, that's okay. We're going to need you here in this stretch of games. The turnaround between Puebla and Kansas City is very tight. And so I'm trying to be cautious. I'm trying to rotate. We have to be smart about that.
All right, looks like we have 3 more hands up for a few follow-ups before concluding here. So we'll go to Masvida next. Go ahead.
Hey, Brian, what did you think of your captain back behind the pipes, if you will, and I think Andrew will start against Puebla, right?
Yeah, good. Steph was fine. I mean, it was good. He didn't have much to do. So, look, getting him back up on the horse was a good thing. And, I thought he had a good performance.
When you say you needed that extra something, was that an extra man in the box? Didn't seem like when you went the other side, you had as many people runners? I know it's early and you haven't looked at the film, but
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the film, Moz, but having numbers in the box is one thing, but where they're spaced is another. So you can't have three guys in one area and leave a space out here. You got to make sure there's one. You got to get them in the right areas. So again, vision is the key. You can't make a good decision unless you see the whole field, and that applies in the 18-yard box as well.
thank you.
Jeremiah, go ahead.
Yeah, just thinking about that, the goal, Paul was a little hard on himself, saying that he needed to close it out a little bit better. It seemed like Steph may have sort of got expected a touch there, maybe. How do you assess what happened on that play?
Well, the sequence happened, Jeremiah, with the two throw-ins that they had on the opposite side of the field that we couldn't clear. And then the corner kick came. And then on the corner kick itself, we were set up properly. But, Paul's got to go out, and he knows the guy's left-footed. So you always want to make the team play one more pass. And so if Paul takes a better angle, he either blocks a shot or he makes the ball go back to the next guy, which allowed our next defender to go put pressure on that guy or Paul if it's close enough. And so you always want to make teams make one more pass. Then if you watch that film closely, Obed was actually held. That's what they were checking on the film. So the center forward was holding Obed, and that's what kept him on side. And so Obed, what he needed to do was just somehow release and get up with the rest of the line, and then they would have had three guys offside. And so that in turn compounds Steph coming out for the ball because, there's guys right in front of him. And so the whole play, look, I would say you probably have to give them some credit because that's who they are, but we could have done better in that moment for sure.
All right, Jada, you can close this out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was one of my questions. Well, I guess maybe just what you were saying or what did you kind of say to the team afterward, and what was did they take it very hard? I guess like you said, they're not going to win everything, but
Jada, what I told them thank you for saying that last bit right there, and sorry if I cut you off. That's exactly what I told them. I said we've got to, we're not going to win every game from here out to the rest of the season, and we have to push past this pretty quick. I want them to get the physical recovery right now. And when we come back to Seattle, they're going to do absolute physical recovery when they come in on Monday. But we actually have to push past this mentally because the next game is a different tournament and it's a different opponent. And so I'm not going to sit there and dwell. We're not going to watch a ton of film about this game. We're going to actually focus on, Puebla. They've got a new coach. They fired their coach. So, who are they going to play? All of those sorts of things. But I really want the team to kind of push past this, learn from our mistakes and learn where we can do better. Of course, we have the same process that we always do to review, but the review might be a little shorter this time because we want to really focus on the game on Wednesday.
And this might be silly, but does it matter at all as far as not being able to get a goal? I mean, obviously there is the loss, but it's been a minute since you guys have even not scored. So does that factor into this?
Well, no, again, we'll watch the tape, Jada, but I thought, our expected goals was pretty close to 2. I think we had some good chances. I don't know how Jackson doesn't get that. I don't know how Alex's shot doesn't, somehow find the back of the net. Pedro came on, had some dangerous chances. Georgie had some good movements. I think our attacking was still pretty good. It just, this game, it wasn't to be.